Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to Let's Try Scrolls. Scrolls is the latest release from Mojang Software, the same company that makes Minecraft, and, well, technically it's still in open beta, but it's one of those ever-increasingly popular open betas that is really, well, this is the game, but we want to, in case there's a bug, we don't want anyone to yell at it too hard. Scrolls is basically released, it's basically the way it's going to be, it's open beta, however, it is not a free beta. Scrolls is a commercial game, and I believe the price is set at around 15 euros or about $20. It is a collectible card game, and as we're going to see, it's got certain mechanics that would be, that seem to fit in much more closely to some of the free-to-play games. For example, if you played something like League of Legends, some of the mechanics in Scrolls will remind you of how you unlock champions in there, and it's kind of odd that this is a game where you have to pay up front as opposed to a free-to-play game. That being said, I think that the game is fantastic. Now, it's a collectible card game. If you haven't played that sort of thing before, things like Magic the Gathering and the Pokemon card game and Spellfire, which was terrible, and Star Wars, and I don't know, there's like 100,000 different collectible card games out there. Generally speaking, the way they work is the big draw to these games is you have a huge pool of cards to choose from, and from these cards you assemble your own custom deck, and then you go into some sort of battle with your homemade deck that you created yourself. And this is in fact one of the reasons I'm not a huge fan of the Duel of the Planeswalkers game available on many consoles and Steam and so on, which is Magic the Gathering, except you don't have the ability to truly build your own deck. You use pre-constructed decks that you can customize a little bit, but it's not quite the same. Now, Scrolls is fully customized deck building. All the features that I would hope to be there are in fact there. When you start up the game for the first time, you get a choice of 3 starter decks, one in each of the, I'm going to say color or themes. There are 3 major divisions of cards, as opposed to Magic the Gathering, which would have 5, and then in Pokemon, for example, you have your different elements. They may add more, they may not, I don't know what their development plan is, but the 3 seem to be fairly well differentiated. You've got the Honor one, which seems to be Human Knights, you've got the Growth one, the first one is called Order, the middle one is Growth, which seems to be a lot of like nature creatures, druids, elves, that sort of thing, and the final one is called Energy, and it seems to be very mechanical, lots of archers, cannons, robots, that sort of thing. Now, one of the things that I didn't like is the fact that you didn't get to actually play or experiment with any of these before you made the choice. You had to choose right away, even without knowing anything about it. But then you can kind of, you have the opportunity to get cards of all types and build decks of all types as you go forward. That just determines your initial starting deck. So let's take a look at a few of the features in the game. The settings screen is relatively bland. There's not a whole lot to do there. I would like to change the speed of some of the animations in combat and that sort of thing, for example, which does not seem to be a choice yet, but maybe will be at some point. We've got our own profile here. You can edit your avatar if you'd like, change the way you would want. I guess I could hit randomize a few times, but I kind of don't want to lose my guy here. So different heads that you can choose. Wow, there's actually a lot more than I thought. There we go. So back to there. Arms with different weapons. I'm going to stick with the axe because I think I look kind of cool with it. So you can customize that. You get your personal stats, game played, games won. Now, I've only been playing against the AI so far, which is also where I did this render. I was like, tried something different. So I haven't played any actual multiplayer stuff yet. And it is multiplayer. It is a one-on-one duel against other players or versus the AI. Now, I don't want to go right up against other players instantly because I was hoping to unlock more cards and also kind of get a feel for how the game flows. One of the things you can do when you play is you can unlock gold. You do start with 2,000 gold, and what you can use this stuff for is to purchase more cards. So if we go into the store, for example, here, we can purchase more sets of scrolls. Scrolls are the names of the cards in this game. You can also buy shards, which cost actual money. Actual money to get shards to do stuff with. So here we go. We've got some things that cost shards down here. So these are only gold. Gold is earned purely, as far as I can tell, through gameplay. So I think they're hoping to avoid the pay-to-win type thing. Although they do have some cards here that you can unlock with these shards, and this is, you specifically unlock them directly. They're quite expensive, though. From what I can tell, this is a totally normal card that you can get just at random. Yeah, because Ether Pump, for example, I have one of these in one of my decks. It is a totally normal card, just that normally you get them at random from these sort of booster packs. And here you get to pick them directly, but it requires actual real-life money. So you don't have to do it, but you could. And then you can unlock more pre-constructed decks there. You can see I've started with the Energy pre-constructed, just by signing up for the game, but I could get the other 2 pre-constructed decks as well if I wanted a good head start on building a different type of deck. And then there's these avatars, which I believe, yeah, they're purely visual things if you want. Kind of interesting, but I have gold, so I'm going to go and get another scroll pack. The scroll pack here comes with 10 randomly picked cards, and you're guaranteed to get 2 uncommons and 1 rare, as opposed to maybe just buying random scroll 10 times. I mean, you might get rares, you might get really lucky and get 10 rares in a row, but I think I prefer buying them as a scroll pack. You can also buy an individual scroll guaranteed to be of a particular faction. For example, I've got my energy deck, so if I want to make sure that I got more energy cards, I could just purchase this directly. It's a little more expensive, but for now, I'm just going to keep buying scroll packs because eventually I'm going to want some of everything, so I will just buy this guy. And then we're going to see what we get. I got a Sandpack Memorial card, so this is part of the Growth faction, which currently I'm not playing with, but maybe I will soon enough, so that's fine. We got one for Order. Again, I'm not playing with these at this time, but that's fine. Oh, here we go. Here's an energy spell, Infernal Blast. This is an actual spell that you just fire once, and you target a tile, and it damages everything in adjacent tiles. So that's one of the concepts that is going to be kind of unique once we start playing this. If you're a veteran of Magic the Gathering, you may not be aware, like, what are we talking about tiles? The actual game board is a kind of a tactical tile-based board. You're not really moving the units directly very often, but it feels very, very nice. It feels, I was going to say tactical and tactical. Is it really the same word? Tactile. It's tactical and tactile. Like, you feel like there's some sort of physicality to the creatures you summon, and I don't know, the positioning matters in kind of interesting ways. I'm a big fan of collectible card games and also the theory of game design, and I really think that Scrolls is beautifully designed. We're going to start to look at some of those. What else have I gotten? Burn. Oh, I love the Burn spell. It's quite expensive to cast, but it deals a decent amount of damage, but also, if it kills the unit, you get to draw an extra card, and that leads to building some nice sort of card efficiency decks. Law Memorial. This, actually, I do not have one of these yet, I don't think, and it's actually an energy scroll. When Law Memorial comes into play, increase order by 1. So far I've been talking about these decks as if they just come in a particular variant. You're playing energy or growth or order. But there's no reason you can't mix and match within the same deck, for example. And this is actually a card that helps us do that because you spend energy to build it, but it provides you order points so that you can play order cards. So nice ability to sort of mix and match, and we'll look at doing some of those later on. Frostbeard, this is a growth guy, so I'm not going to be using him right now. Binding Root, same thing. Redesign, oh, this is one of mine. It's an enchantment, so I use it on an existing creature in play. Target creature's attack and health switch values. That's very interesting. Iron Whip spell. Target unit takes 1 damage. Its attack is increased by 1 until the end of the turn, and countdown decreases by 2. So this will hurt a unit, so you can use it to kill something that's very weak. But you could also use it to buff your own unit if you're willing to accept some damage, because you'll do 1 extra damage with that creature, and also it can attack faster. You're encouraging it to attack faster. We'll talk about these mechanics once we get into the game itself. Speed. There we go. We're looking at that countdown again, which is important for how quickly the units attack. And that's it. So View is not enchantment, right? So speed rather? Yeah, it's a 1-shot spell. Alright, so that's my deck that I just, or my booster pack that I just opened up. I will very quickly glance at the deck builder, but we won't actually customize it at this time. So if I click here, this is the list of all the cards that I own. I can filter out, so for example, I could filter out the order cards and the growth cards, so I only see the energy cards now, and I have 65 of them. To build the deck, you need 50 scrolls in the deck. I don't know if it has to be exactly 50 or just at least 50, but generally speaking, just like in something like Magic the Gathering, you want to build it using the least amount of cards possible, the minimum amount of cards possible. The logic being is some cards are better than other cards, right? So if you have a few good cards in your deck and then you just fill it, you put hundreds of cards in your deck, then the odds of you getting your really good cards is decreased. So that's why you want to minimize how many cards are in your deck at any given point, even if you're allowed to put in more than 50. And I'm not sure if you are allowed to exceed that or not. I guess I could check it. I could load one of my existing decks here, throw in, what was one of those spells I liked that we got? You know what, let me throw in that Iron Whip. I kind of like it because it's going to be nice and flexible. So I'm just going to drag that into my deck and then save. And yeah, it will let me do that. It will let me run with a 51 card deck. The other problem with that is, with having an overlarge deck rather, is that you can, if you have combos in your deck, right? If you have a couple of cards that really synergize well with one another, the bigger your deck, the least likely it is that you will draw your combo at the same time. So that's the other reason you tend to minimize things. So I will, I'm going to leave the Iron Whip in there. I'm going to pull something else out. I think I'm going to remove Desperation because it hasn't really come up so far. Actually, what do I like? Golem Skin isn't bad. It's the Metal Heart. Well, it's not bad. It's a one-shot deal. Usually I don't like things that are purely one-shot like that. In fact, I've got 3 of them in the deck, so I will go ahead and take one out. And resave this. That's my Energy-1 deck. And, yeah, so, okay, deck building. So again, we're not looking at the full thing, but it is there. You can sort by name or sort by cost. And ideally, hopefully, there'll be other ways to filter these things at some point. There is the text search as well, so if I want to search for Metal Heart, it'll search for it up here, which is... It's kind of weird that the search box is down below, but whatever. All right, so the deck. So we've looked at profile, settings, store, deck building. So the only thing left to look at is the arena. And this is where you actually play the games. You can play single player against the AI, and it seems to be actually an excellent way to build up gold, in particular the trials. And then, of course, there's multiplayer as well. Quick match, ranked match, and we can challenge individual people as well. We can join specific rooms. We can type our own room, so I could create a Quill 18 room, for example, and then join that. And there we go. So I could be in here. You could go and matchmake against different people if you so want to do. Hopefully there will be more and more of these sort of social features put in. So far, I really like the way the user interface looks. I think it's beautifully and simply designed. And yeah, hopefully they keep adding more and more and more features. The fact that you can spend money to get extra stuff will hopefully continue to incentivize the company to improve the product all the time, keep people in, keep them spending. And actually, so far, how do we get back to this? Is this the home screen? This. I mean, currently there's 5,600 players online simultaneously, and that is pretty amazing. That's a huge number in terms of finding opponents at any given time, so that's really good. All right, so arena. So I'm going to go, so tutorial will actually be a tutorial where they set you up and they tell you, what to cast in what order and get you going. And quick match is just a quick match against an AI. It'll let you choose the difficulty. But there's these trials which are pretty cool, and so they're very much just a quick match against the AI. But these have slightly different starting setups. They're a little bit weird in terms of how you play them, and also they give you a huge bonus reward. So this is the way, I'm planning on just burning my way through all the trials, getting lots and lots of gold, unlocking lots of cards, and then finally building a deck to go and play real multiplayer with. I'm not sure how much gold reward you get from multiplayer. The amount you get from just playing a quick match against the AI is kind of sketchy. So let's go and try one of these trials out. This is a barrage of bunnies. So, when rummaging through a junkyard for a contraption, you spot a cute bunny perched on high. Cute little devil, you think to yourself, as an army of long-eared beasts descends and begin munching your ankles with vigor. Next, you spot a caller gloating. I presume caller is another player, basically. He's an odd-looking chap with an elaborate carrot-lined coat. Tonight, you eat stew. Not literally. So, trial details, destroy 3 of your opponent's idols to win. That is the normal win condition. This is always going to be there. However, there's one weirdness, is that my opponent begins the battle with 3 junkyards and 3 bunnies. Alright, so let's play the trial. You can choose your deck. So this one's illegal because there's not enough cards in this deck to play. This is the pre-constructed deck that I started with, and this is my energy deck that I've technically customized, but given the fact that I don't have tons of cards, it's very similar to the pre-constructed energy deck, so we'll just go in there. But as I unlock more and more cards, I'll get more and more of it. So, again, this is a standard game, except that my opponent starts with this stuff already in play. So this is not going to be your experience in a standard multiplayer game, but it's going to work here. This might be really hard, I don't know. So we've got a bunny. It's a token. It counts as a beast and a bunny. It has 0 attack, so it can't do damage by default. It has 1 hit point, so that's all the damage it can take before it dies. And this is the cooldown. Every 3 turns, it will attack. That's what this means. If Bunny's attack is 0, it will summon another bunny in an adjacent tile instead of attacking. Oh, this is just going to be a weird game then. Like, I don't even think these are normal cards. Maybe there's a card that lets you summon bunnies in the actual game, but this is just going to be a weird match. And then we have the junkyards here. These are walls. They're structures. Structures don't move. They also don't attack. Well, no, that's not true. Sorry. They don't move. Okay, you can't change them from one tile to another, and walls specifically don't attack, generally speaking. In fact, it has an attack rating of 0. It has a non-applicable cooldown, so it like literally has no actions. It has 3 hit points, or 3 health. And rat creatures and that is the guy, my opponent, because it's his junkyard. Rat creatures he controls get +1 health as long as it's in play. And in fact, there's 3 of them, so these are going to be gigantic rats. Luckily, it doesn't affect bunnies, so I'm really curious to see what kind of weird setup this particular deck is. Meanwhile, on my side, okay, so we've got these structures here. I believe these are called idols. This is what you have to destroy to win. Each one of these has 10 hit points, and you have to destroy 3 idols to end the game. So generally, you're going to want to focus just on 3, but you might end up having to do damage in a few different places before you can sneak around and actually finish them off. The way an attack works, well, we'll see it pretty soon. We're going to see the mechanics soon. First thing I have to do is I have to get some resources to be able to cast my spells. So what I'm going to do is probably toss out one of my most expensive ones. I quite like the Clock Library, but I think I'm going to toss it for now. Or no, you know what? I'm going to toss out Fury. So all units decrease their cooldown by 1. This actually affects all units on both sides. So I'm going to click on this. And I can do 2 things. I can discard it to be able to draw 2 cards, or I can discard it to give myself 1 energy resource point, which is what I'm going to do here. So you can see down here, I'm at energy 1 of 1, and the useless contraption is slightly brighter here because the cost, I can pay this cost. I can't afford any of these, but I have 1 energy, so I can put down my useless contraption. So I suppose I will. This is actually just a wall, so I'm not even convinced that I need it in this scenario. You know what? I'm going to save it. I'm going to throw this out next time and just play the gun automaton. So this will actually just be the end of my turn. Alright, so he cast Dryadic Power Enchantment. Enchanted creature gains +1 attack and +3 health, and its move decreased by 1. So he cast it on this bunny over here. So now this bunny's actually got an attack rating. It will no longer multiply, but it can attack. It's also quite tough. Its move being decreased by 1, I believe, means he can't move it from one tile to another. But it's back to my turn, so I'm going to go ahead and trash that useless contraption for more energy. So my useless contraption is a wall. That's all it's there for. I'm going to throw that out, and I'm going to put down a gun automaton instead. It's got a ranged attack, which actually doesn't really affect gameplay directly very much, it seems. There might be something, I'm not sure, but it seems more it has to do with interaction with cards. Some cards will do damage to you if you're hitting it with a melee attack, so the ranged attack avoids that. There might be more to it than that, I'm not entirely sure. So now I have to decide if I want to place him on one of the rows where he will attack through the wall and try to start killing things, or if I put him in a blank spot over here and just try to drill down one of these totems as quickly as possible. I think I'm kind of worried about the bunny multiplication effect. I think I'm going to start hammering down this wall. I could also put him up here, but I think he's going to die to this bunny before he kills him. So I'm going to put him down in the middle, right around here. Actually, I should have a pretty good deck to counter the bunnies because I'm going to have a lot of splash damage. Anyway, that's it for my turn. I've used up all my resources, so we're going to skip that. So my cooldown on this guy is 2, so in 2 turns he'll be able to attack. Bunnies are starting to multiply. Now you see how these guys, or actually he cast another bunny spell. Oh, I see. Oh, this one's, they're tokens because they started in play. You see how these guys are glowing? That's because their cooldown, well, it currently says 1, but it's letting me know on their next attack, their next turn, these guys will be able to attack. Now, because these have a power of 0, instead of attacking me, they're actually just going to summon another bunny instead of attacking. That's their special ability. But this guy here has a power of 1. Right? This is the card, and then I can see the Dryadic Power enchantment that's on this card. His effective attack is currently a 1, so he will be able to actually attack me and do damage to this idol, which is fine. I'm going to toss another spell. I will go ahead and get rid of the Clock Library for now. These burn spells will actually come in extremely handy. So I'm going to convert this into another resource, which will give me 3 points. So I will now put down a Hellspitter Mortar. Hellspitter Mortars are kind of interesting. They are not very expensive considering their points. They have huge hit points and huge attack, but they're lobber creatures. Which means instead of attacking down a row and sort of hitting things in this row and doing damage to an idol, they instead target a completely random tile on the opponent's board. If the opponent only had 1 or 2 creatures, the chance of this hitting anything at all would be extremely slim. But in this case, I feel like this opponent is going to have a lot of crap on the table. So the Hellspitter Mortar is almost always going to hit something, and it does deal 5 damage when it lands a blow, so that's pretty good. The interesting thing about this guy is that he doesn't matter where he's positioned, because his attack rating doesn't really matter there, although he also acts as a pretty good wall. I don't think I'm going to be attacking down the middle column here, so I'm actually going to stick him right here. That way I don't worry about occupying some places that I might want to attack. And if they decide to make a run through the middle, this guy's going to be able to tank quite a few hits. So that's it for my turn, so I'm going to hit next turn again. And we'll see what all his crap does. Cast Crimson Bolt. All units you control gain +2 attack until end of turn. Son of a bitch! Okay, so the bunnies didn't multiply, but they did 3 damage to this structure over here, and they killed my 1 guy. Damage by default does not penetrate your creatures. So even if I had a guy here with only 1 hit point, and he had a guy here that had like 99,000 attack, it would just kill my 1 creature, and that's all there is to it. However, if they have the Relentless ability, then they will sort of trample through the creatures. They'll kill the first one, kill the second one, kill the third one, and then kill the idol, assuming it still has enough attack power to get through. So if this was a 10 attack power creature, and I had creatures of 3, 3, 3, then it would do 3 damage to the first one, then 3 to the next one, then 3 to the next one, and it would have 1 damage left over to apply to my actual idol. So I'm going to go, I've got a Gravelock Raider here. It's a 1 attack. It has Relentless, which means it can trample technically. And this guy wouldn't be bad if we could buff him, but I don't really have that much that would be able to buff this guy. So I'm also going to convert him to a resource. But then I've got my burn spells, and I'm going to start using them up. I could target the bunnies to kill them, and there's definitely some value in doing that, but I feel like I would rather burn down these walls, and then it'll be easier for my other creatures to just start killing bunnies at that point, which seems like an odd phrase. So I like burn. It does 3 damage to a creature, and if it destroys it, I draw a card. So I almost always like to use these cards to actually guarantee a kill. I don't know if I've ever used it yet to just do damage. And that's it. That's it for my turn. I probably should have just drawn more cards with my Metal Heart instead. This thing is a pain in the ass. This Eternal Statue, because it heals itself by 1 health every turn. So it's going to be a lot more work to burn through. Now, Ether Pump. That is perfect. That is the 1 card I truly need to counter this bunny deck. So Ether Pump is a structure, so it doesn't move. And it attacks every 3 turns, but when it attacks, all it does is it deals damage, 1 point of damage to all my opponent's creatures. So it's going to be the ultimate bunny slayer. I'm going to keep it behind this, what's this called? This mortar. Again, it doesn't need to move. Its position doesn't matter, but this is the way it'll be really, really nicely protected behind this guy. Boom. It's actually got quite a few hit points as well, so it's not a bad wall in its own right, but it should start wiping out bunnies pretty goddamn effectively. And that's going to be it for my turn. Let's see if he randomly hits something. Oh, he did! Oh, he killed the big bunny too, so that's perfect. That is really good. And I think this bunny just multiplied itself back over here. And these guys are going to multiply themselves next turn. Now, I finally got the 1 big creature I have in my deck, the Iron Ogre. It is huge. It costs 7. It's got 7 attack, 7 hit points. It's also relentless, which means it will charge through one thing to the other. But I'm definitely far away from having the amount of resources required to cast it. So I will go ahead and I will sacrifice the Metal Heart for more mana. I could burn something. I could burn down another wall. But I think I'm going to save it for now. None of these are particularly a threat. The Ogre will be able to run right through the walls. I'm going to save it just in case I want something to discard for more mana or something later on, or to take out a bigger threat. So it's going to do that. I'm not going to spend any points. Champion Ring. Enchanted creature gets +2 attack. Okay, so it only affects 1. Doesn't give them more hit points, so they're still going to get killed by my Ether Pump at some point. I got my Tool Initiate. The Tool Initiate is actually really, really cool. He's relatively cheap. He still has 2 attack and 3 hit points, which is not terrible, frankly, for a cost 2 creature. But when his cooldown comes down, he attacks every 2 turns. But when it goes down to 0, instead of attacking, I can give +1 to attack to a structure. And that only pumps up his count his countdown, sorry, I keep saying cooldown, his countdown by 1. So he can do that. He has to wait 2 turns the first time, but then after that, he can just do it every single turn. I can give +1 attack to a structure, and it's permanent. It's not until end of turn. It's a permanent boost to that structure. So I can make these, well, this cannon's already pretty deadly, but I've got some other cannons that I could continue to buff like that and really create a death zone where nothing can survive and really build up an impressive defensive structure. It would be nice if I could use it to make this do more damage, but I can't. It's not based on the attack, it's based on this ability, which always just does 1 static damage. That being said, this time I'm going to sacrifice it for resources, because I'm trying to get up to 7 points so I can get up to my ogre. And that's it. I'm going to keep delaying. I'm not feeling threatened by these bunnies at some point. I realize he's got the card that he could play to give like everything huge attack. But next turn, this will fire off and will kill all the bunnies. In fact, right now, this is my final turn. The Goo Catapult is actually going to be really good. I'm going to get rid of the burn spell. I would almost never do this in a normal game because it's so good. But in this scenario, the Catapult of Goo is worth keeping. We're going to talk about it when I cast it down. So I'm going to sacrifice burn for another resource. I've got 7, so now I can put down the Ogre. And I will put the Ogre in this lane here. It doesn't matter where I put it in terms of this, other than the order. It seems to me that the creatures attack starting from the front row and then working their way backwards. So you might want to keep in mind the order of, like, you know, doing damage to something. And also the frontline creatures will be the first thing to take damage. So by putting something in the back, it's generally much more protected. Here it doesn't really matter, but I'll put them, you know what, I'll put them in the middle for now. But there's nothing to do, so I'm going to hit end of turn. This thing will fire off. It'll kill everything that's got 1 hit point, which will be all the bunnies. It'll also damage all of these, but you'll see that this statue will heal itself at the beginning of its turn. So this thing will fire off. It's got an animation. Boom, boom, boom. Lots of dead bunnies. You see this just healed itself back up to 4, but the others are still hurt. What the hell is this? Haste. When Vitality Well's cooldown becomes 0, all friendly units are healed by 1. Creatures come into play with cooldown set to 0. Okay, so this fires off instantly, healing all friendly units by 1, and then it will continue to do that every 3 turns. This actually sounds like an odd ability in the bunny deck, because most of the bunnies don't have that many hit points. Although I suppose the walls do, so it's effectively healing the walls. It'll counter the damage from this thing, but that's okay. Now, meanwhile, he put a poison ability on my creature. He put Ranger's Bane. It says becomes poison. It doesn't tell you what poison does, but it's 1 hit point per round, and this will last for 3 rounds. So we've already lost 1 hit point. This will eventually bring me down to, so from 7 down to 4, but it won't actually kill my guy. And yeah, we got another huge creature. I only have 2 big creatures, and I just happen to get them both. The Cannon Automaton. It is a creature. It is a range attack. It does a lot of damage. It's not, but you can see the difference. Like, this thing costs 3. Oops. It costs 3 and has 6 hit points and 5 damage. This costs 6 and does 5 damage, only has 4 hit points. But it's an actual creature, which means it actually attacks in a straight line. It's also got this great ability to take 1 point of damage less from everything. Yeah, so ranged by default simply means they don't take damage from spiky units. But there are other things that care if you're ranged or not. So I will go ahead. I kind of want to put down the Catapult of Goo so I can talk about it, but I also want to win, which means I want to put down the Cannon Automaton. So I will put this one down here, and this is actually a half-decent front row guy because he takes 1 less damage from everything. I have a feeling this match is going to be pretty easy. So that is it. Looks like this cannon is going to fire. It might get lucky and kill something. It might not. Nope. So it just missed. That will happen a lot with that guy. So I haven't decided if it's a good card or anything yet. Oh, did you just double poison me? Ooh, you did, and I took 2 damage. Alright, so poison stacks. This guy will actually die next round, which is really annoying. But that's fine. I'm not as in love with this guy as I am with the Ogre, simply because of his ability to smash through multiple things with his Relentless. Right? If opponent blocking unit is destroyed, this creature will continue its attack. It's very cool. Alright, let's put down the Catapult of Goo, just so we can talk about it. So this is also an artillery, but it's a Goo lobber, not just a lobber. Oh, and I didn't realize that units attacked by it get +1 cooldown. That's very neat. But also, you'll notice when I put this down, this actually targets a specific area. And I think it hits everything in that area. So ideally, I'd actually love to put it right here to be able to hit everything on the front line. But that doesn't seem to be an option. I will put it here because I like the idea of controlling the middle like that. Put a death zone down there. Now this attack this will attack its actual attack value. So this is 1 point of damage. This guy, when you buff him with that that tool guy, is there a way to see my discarded cards? There probably is, excuse me, and I'm just not aware of it. But that tool guy that can give +1 to attack to a structure, because this is a structure, this can turn this into a death machine. Like if I'm doing like 5+ damage per turn in this whole zone, nothing's going to survive that. I will go ahead and put him down. Sometimes there's a little bit of latency because it is performed over the internet, even in single player mode, to make sure that there's no cheating. Drawing cards, playing creatures, and all that seems to be authenticated against the server, which certainly seems like a good idea. I would hate the ability for players to sort of look at their cards and cheat that way. That would be awful. So I'm going to keep saving my burn spell because why not? I'm just going to hit next turn. And then I believe the turn after that, both of these guys will fire, except that this one guy will be dead. When enchanted unit is destroyed, summon Ilthorn in its place. I don't know what Ilthorn is. And is it on this guy? It is too. So we're going to see what that effect is this round, because this guy's about to attack. He's going to kill this, and we're going to get Ilthorn. Alright, I'm going to put down another Catapult of Goo. I'll put it right here. Partially also to protect my Ogre, frankly, from whatever that Ilthorn is, but it's also going to start, you know, continue to just cover everything. And let's hit next. We're going to see the Ogre go through. It should kill this statue. Oh, we get the shot too. It's going to kill the statue and then go through and deal 3 damage over here. There's an Ilthorn. Oh, it's just a spiky wall. Everything took 1 point of damage because this thing also fired off. This is going to turn around and heal everything. Boom. He's going to cast another bunny. I want to make a bunny deck. God damn it. This sounds adorable. And I'm going to go ahead. Well, I don't have to burn anything yet because we're not going to attack. Well, I guess I could do both. I'm going to go ahead and burn down this wall. Yes, no? There we go. Burn down the wall. Gives me a card. Oh, I get a spark card, which deals 2 damage to something, which is often quite nice, actually. And I'm going to put down a gun automaton in... I really should be dodging some of these walls. Part of the... Well, I'm not doing any damage to this middle section at all. I'm definitely going to plow through this bottom one here. And, you know what, I'll also... Actually, I'm going to start picking off the top. Because after we're done killing this idol, I can move the Ogre down to here. He's an Ogre, right? Yeah. Move him down to here, and he'll be able to kill this idol pretty quickly. So we'll see about plunking down this one, and then the bottom 2 for the win. So, let's go ahead. Skip next. That's the Goo Lobber, so it hit everything in this area, including doing 1 damage over here. It will help keep this cooldown a little bit restricted, which is kind of cool. Concentrate Fire is very fun. This only works on ranged or lobber units, but it will make an extra attack after its next attack. So in fact, like this guy here is about to go, so I could cast potentially Concentrate Fire on this guy, and he would randomly hit 2 places. I'm not sure that's necessarily worthwhile. I have some better range guys that'll probably just be a better choice for that. Now, you'll notice that if I click on, say, this Ogre, I can move him at this point. I can do that for any creature, but I can't do that for things that are structures. They are immobile. Let's just save this up for now. Random attack. Took something out. Fantastic. Some goo getting put down. Champion's Ring, so +2 attack on the bunny rabbit. But that's okay. It's actually about to get destroyed by this. I'm going to sacrifice the useless contraption to draw 2 more cards. I like the Copper Automaton. It's like a Baneling, basically. It does huge amounts of damage, and it's cheap, but it destroys itself after an attack. So it is explosively cute. Let's get some of those down there. I could do a Concentrate Fire in this guy just to help pound this down a little bit faster, but we'll wait. I'm just going to save these cards. Boom, he's going to do his full 7 damage and kill this one idol. We actually get gold for that instantly. My turn again. Another Copper Automaton, which is going to self-destruct itself, which is going to lead to pretty good destruction down here, actually. Oh, I forgot! No, I don't want to do that. Actually, I can... move this guy here, move this guy here. Yeah, okay, we'll be okay. I can rearrange things next turn and everything will be fine. Next turn. Some more goo. This guy's gonna explode himself. Kabam. Vitality well, which heals everything, but that's fine. Yeah, this deck is so not threatening. Holy cow. When the built-in sort of quick matches against the AI that uses a deck similar to mine, I actually found it very difficult. So I'm going to take this guy, scooch him forward. I'm going to take this guy, scooch him forward, move the Baneling down here, and that'll be pretty good. In fact, I really don't need the Ogre. It's going to be so overkill. Let's apply a little bit more damage up at the top just to make things go a little faster, and hit next. So damage there. So this guy's going to fire twice because of the concentrated fire. He's going to detonate, leave this with 1 hit point. So yeah, I really don't need the Ogre, but oh, there's no such thing as too much overkill, right? Put down the scatter gun guy up here, and what the hell? We'll put down the catapult of goo just because it's fun, and go. So now the Ogre is going to kill this idol, and we just need to kill the third one, which will be at the top. So this is obviously a very easy match, but it's possible if I was playing a different kind of deck, the bunnies would be a little bit more intimidating. I don't think so. I mean, the trials are, especially this one, it's set to be an easy trial, right? So if it had been hard, it would be bad. Part of the idea here is to teach you how to play the game. Draw 2 more cards. Anything that'll help instantly? No. Put down the other scattergun up there. So this guy just attacked this already broken idol, so nothing happened. 1 more turn. Junkyard Wall, that's not really going to hurt us. An Eternal Statue, which he actually should have put here. Rumble. Opponent's units move 1 step to a random adjacent to empty tile. Oh, it even moved my structures, which is kind of interesting. Doesn't bother me in any way whatsoever. Let's get this guy back up there, and we're about to win. Oh, we do have to get through this. You know what? I'm going to put Concentrate Fire on my gunman here who's about to fire, the Scatter Gunner. So he'll shoot twice. Once will kill the wall, once will kill the idol. And that's it. Game over. Boom. Victory. So I got 82 points for the victory, 20 points for completion of the match. Even if I'd lost, I'd get that. I get 30 points for killing the 3 idols. So again, even if I hadn't won, but I'd killed some idols, I'd get stuff. Because the trial has a 250 gold reward, I get that. And here's my total. Now, you can't repeat the trial, so once you've gone through... Well, you can repeat them, but you no longer get the gold reward, right? Gold, no gold. So, that is a trial, and, yeah, I suppose I could try a real game. Not against a human, I mean, but I could do a quick match against the AI. Again, I don't feel like I really want to play the humans until I've got a little bit more customization in the deck. I'm sure there will be a video soon of me playing humans, but not today. We'll do a quick match against a normal AI, not one of these weird bunny things. And we'll bring it up to, we'll go medium difficulty. Not convinced it's going to go well. And there's still some customization to my deck that I should still do. Battle start. Oh, my opponent is starting, which is no good. I quite like my initial draw, though. Lots of cheap stuff. Ah, so he's playing on one of the green decks. If he's got some rats, this is actually going to be pretty impressive. I always liked theme decks like that in Magic. You know, the rat decks, the Thalid decks, the elf decks, and then you get a lot of stuff that really combos well. They often weren't the best decks, but they were always kind of interesting. Now, I really like the Cannon Automaton, but it's going to be a long time before I can cast him, so I'm going to sacrifice him for resources to get started. And then I will go ahead and build a useless contraption in the middle just to act as a wall, and then call that good. Also, not just as a wall, but I can sacrifice and do various things with these structures because of my particular deck. This is actually a tough decision here. I'm going to get rid of the Spark, because I don't need it right this second. Although it means if I could have... Well, I don't want to spark anything, so... Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Oh, he doesn't cast anything. So I will get rid of the Bombard, because right now I don't need to reduce my cooldown of anything. And now I have enough to start putting things down. Now, I've got an interesting choice at this point. I could put down... Sorry, I'm moving my chair here. I kept rolling backwards and backwards as I played. I could put down the Catapult of Goo and try to actually gain some control over this sort of board over here, which would not be terrible. I could also put down a Scattergunner, which also, you know, gives some control because of the, you know, actual dealing damage and killing things. It's also, the Scattergunner is weak, but it would be protected by a wall here. So, and we could also start beating down one of these idols. So there's a lot of value there. I could definitely see an argument for either way. I guess I'll start with the Scattergunner. I'll put him far back, and then we can put down the Catapult of Goo afterwards. and see how that goes. Next turn. He's going to put down another junkyard? Really? Maybe this guy is playing with a theme deck. Another useless contraption, which I could put down, or I could just burn for some money. I would like to get an ether pump down as soon as possible. But also the catapult of goo. Right? There's an argument. I'm going to get rid of it for a resource. And yeah, I'll put down the ether pump. And in fact, it's a great wall. So I could use it to protect this guy, or I could put it down here and use it as a wall to protect the catapult. I guess the catapult's actually not that squishy and not that important. Maybe I'll put it here. It doesn't help me control the middle, except that it does keep protecting this guy, so there's some value there. You know, sometimes I think of this game as chess, sometimes I think of it as Magic the Gathering. I think of it in terms of card efficiency, in terms of positional advantages. This guy's actually not going to be killing anything, so to a certain extent, I mean, he's helping me get to victory quicker, but I think this happens a lot when I'm playing against a normal opponent, is I focus on killing these idols, and then they are able to build up their forces considerably, and I should maybe focus on killing them. That being said, I could do that right now. He's about to attack. I can move him before he does that. I can move him to here, so he's actually going to blow up this guy right away, which is pretty damn good. And I think I'll also put down a catapult of goo. I think this might be pretty good. Hopefully that'll be good. And that's it for my turn. Now, I haven't actually burned a card yet. I could, again, build up resources, or I could actually just draw more. I do like Tool Initiate, though. And I also like Burn. So I think I'm just going to save them for now. Because at this time I have a lot of structures. This is the same deck I played last game, but I somehow drew more structures this time around. So the Tool Initiate's going to be really good. Oh, the Charging Coil is really cool. It attacks every round and deals 1 damage to something at random, which is actually pretty good, because it's always going to hit. And I'm a big fan of this, actually. Now, I don't want to put it in the middle, because this would actually block my ability to move things from one side of the map to the other. I still want a Tool Initiate. I can't kill this guy with Burn, which is really unfortunate. I could toss this out and then get out both the Tool Initiate and the Charge Coil. I don't usually like sacrificing Burn. I mean, I could even kill one of these junkyards if I wanted to with it and get another card in exchange from it. It doesn't get me faster putting down these two. And it's not like the junkyards are a particular threat right now. You know what? I think this is really surprising. This is 2 games in a row where I'm going to sacrifice Burn. I'm not convinced it's a good move, but what the hell. I'm going to put down the Charge Coil way down here. And in fact, the Tool Initiate I'll also put down here. He probably won't be attacking, but they can sort of, I don't know, protect each other or some damn thing. Or that's going to happen. Well, lucky he can't attack yet. Putting down a Great Wolf in the middle. This guy's actually kind of a tough creature. And +1 attack for every other wolf you control. I think this guy, he will actually summon wolves when he gets his cooldown, which is actually going to be next turn, so he's a little bit threatening. And by a little, I actually mean a lot. Now, the question is, do I want to play the Gun Automaton, or do I want to sack him for 2 cards? I think I'd rather sack him for 2 cards at this point. I think that's going to be a stronger move. And then... oh, this guy's going to run too. So I think I'm going to move my gunner down to the middle, because this will do 1 damage, and the gunner will do 4 damage, so we'll actually kill this wolf off, which I think is pretty good. Actually, the Goo Blaster is also going to hit, I think, this turn. And I think he's going to cover this tile. Oh, no, it doesn't. Okay. So yeah, let's move the gunner down here. So this is going to kill this guy off. This guy is going to be a little threatening. He may attack me, which is not ideal, but he may also summon wolves, which is also not ideal. Yeah, let's bring in some more cards. Now, Golem Skin is a very fun card. It sacrifices all structures. So this would be a structure, and these 2. And so is this. So this would be 4 structures just instantly sacrificed. On the other hand, it gives that creature, my target creature, +4 attack, +4 health, which is really strong. I don't think this is the right time to do it, but there's certainly been many situations where I've been able to obliterate my opponent. Many situations. I've played, what, like 13 games at this point? But with a Golem Skin enchanted person, especially like often one of these gunners or something, because they already start with big damage, doing 8 damage per turn is sick, as long as this guy remains protected. But I don't think I'm going to do it at this point. I like the structures that I've got in play, so I'm going to keep it for now. I could spark something. There's no way to get a kill out of it, though, so I'm going to just save it for now. Goo down here, which doesn't do much. Everything's been hit by 1. Ah, see, I was going to say, if this guy happens to hit this one, then I could have sparked him and killed him. And I suppose maybe I should have sparked him, just in case. I probably should have taken the chance. Worst case scenario, he doesn't die this round. He'll get sparked eventually. More walls? So dumb. I'm definitely going to spark him this time, though. He's got to die. I don't want him to kill this. So we still haven't done damage to the other side, but I feel like we're controlling the battlefield very, very well. And I don't think I'm going to be using Golem Skin right now. I could use Fury, though. This would actually be a decent time for Fury. All units decrease their cooldown by 1. My opponent doesn't have any units that have a cooldown. So, I mean, none of these are particularly high priority cooldown reduction options, although it means this guy's going to shoot right away, so that's pretty good. And the Golem Skin, I guess I'll leave it for now, but I'm probably going to draw next turn. Although, I guess if I draw next turn, it means I can't... You can only sacrifice a card once per turn. So, okay, I'll do the card thing, and then next time I can sacrifice it for resources if I want. Let's hit that. We're going to get lots of little attacks. Something's going to get zapped. Cool. Actually, this is a good position for it, because I think he's going to act last, basically. Oh, freaking haste. I was going to say he's going to act last every single round. So if these guys manage to kill something, that means fewer targets for this, which means it's more likely that this is going to kill something useful. We've got a destroyer, so that's another artillery that can kind of sort of target anywhere. Unfortunately, the only way to target this tile is in a really inconvenient place. It does do 2 damage, though, as a base, which is pretty nice. It just doesn't cover as many tiles. It's also a pretty decent wall. I would cover even less. I think I'm actually going to try to avoid this guy. Maybe I'll start seeing if I can blow things up at the top, actually. So let's go and I'm going to put a gun automaton in the top. See if we can work our way through that. And I could put down another catapult. There's actually some overlap here, but it means it means the top is going to be very hard for them to contest, actually. Which I quite like. We'll ignore the bottom completely, and we'll just try to block off the top. Everything just took 1 point of damage from that. Summoning a Great Wolf. Copper Automaton sacrifices itself after doing damage. You know, let's just draw cards at this guy. I got the Iron Whip spell, which I could use to kill off this wall right now, for example. Well, if I put this down here, nothing's going to be able to attack in that spot. So I'm able to absorb 1 attack from this guy and then die. Oh, actually, the Destroyer has a 1-round cooldown? That's pretty good. Alright, let's put it down. I did not realize that. That fires a lot. Oh, right, I already sacrificed a card. I was gonna... Alright. That's it for the turn. Oh, he's gonna go through this wall instead. That's fine. Relentless. For each of your Gravelocks, Gravehawk gets +1 attack. What the hell is he casting? Stop putting down spells, damn you. Oh, that's a lot of damage. Luckily, this guy's not relentless. Incendiaries is actually a really good card for the cost in that it's going to hurt a lot of things. It's going to kill 2 walls, almost kill this, which is not really enough to do anything. You know what I'm going to do? Just ensure this guy can't dodge me. It's a little crazy, but I'm going to Iron Whip my gunner here, which will do 1 point of damage to him, but won't kill him. It increases attack by 1, which is not really the end of the world, but it does reduce its cooldown. Or its countdown. So he'll attack right away and then finish this guy off, make sure he's no longer a threat, and I think I like that idea. So he'll attack this turn. This wolf is going to... I'm going to put a goo catapult in front of it. Alright, let's go. Nice goopiness there, nice goopiness there. A little bit of damage being applied. Murdered that guy, which makes me very happy. Another Eternal Statue, which are annoying but aren't the end of the world. In fact, Incendiaries combined... Oh, this thing is about to go right now. The cooldown is 0. So if I Incendiary and this thing is going to go off, it'll actually kill off both those statues. And I think that'll be a good idea. With that Golem skin. So at this point, we can make like a super duper guy. Incinerate. But I think I like the structures existing. So again, I think I'm just going to... In this particular case, I'm going to sacrifice this for some more cards. Oh, my self-exploding guy. You know, we're going to put that here. It's going to be good for killing the wolf. Next turn. These guys are both at 1. That thing just went off, did damage to everything. Good stuff. Just a generic 2-2 guy. Although he's fast, he attacks every turn. I'll say, these are fun creatures. Alright, finish that goo catapult off. That's not the end of the world. I like the Ember Bonds. It's kind of interesting. It is creature removal. It guarantees that a creature will die, but it's only as it attacks. So it means it gets chances to attack, and also chances to defend and things, but it does ensure that things will die pretty consistently. In fact, this guy's only got 1 hit point. When it's killed in battle, friendly units gain +2 attack until end of turn. So it means the first time this thing dies, I'm going to... Or the first time this thing attacks, it's going to die with Ember Bonds. And I think it... Yeah, it's before attacking. So it'll die instantly before it gets a chance to do anything, and I quite like that. So my Lobber is going to kill this, and actually then my Beetle is going to kill that guy. So never mind, I don't need to do that. This guy will only do 1 damage to him. I could put it on the wolf, that'll kill him in 2 rounds. Or 2 rounds of attack, rather. I could put it on this guy, it'll kill him in 1 round of attack. Which is probably better, because otherwise I think he's going to be able to kill this thing pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and put it there. The Bombard spell will be really good to use. We actually have quite a few ranged attackers. Maybe I'll use it next round. Some goop. Some not goop, but that kills things. Bullet over there, which kills things. Explode that guy, kill it. Champion ring, so +2 attack over here. Okay, this wolf is getting really scary. What the hell is going on in there? Leeching is healed by as much... Oh my god. Yeah, alright, that's bad. Still got 1 hit point, so... I'm going to Bombard, so all units with ranged or Lobber attacks have their cooldown reduced by 2, which means this guy, and this guy will become active, which I like. This guy will kill that. I can move my Gunner. My Gunner doesn't want to be in this row at this point anyway, because this is reduced down to 0. But I could move him down here. It'll take 2 shots, but it'll kill the wolf. Meanwhile, this guy will continue to apply damage to the top one. Alright, I like it. Oh wait, it will take 2 shots. I don't have a Concentrate Fire. Oh, I was thinking this card. It's just like, oh, it's going to shoot twice. The wolf is actually going to be okay, because the wolf is not going to be able to attack next round. But I did definitely have a brain fart there. Actually, it's going to die next round, because this one's going to trigger. So that's totally okay. It's totally going to be fine. Okay. Ah, stupid haste. Stupid haste. Alright, so that's going to trigger, and it's going to kill this guy off. That's all. Desperation's not going to help here. Concentrate. You know, we need more cards. A new Scattergunner would actually be excellent. I could put him up here for now. What's the cooldown on that? 2. Put him up here and then put him behind a wall. Actually, I guess for safety I should have just put him down here in the first place. Boom, kill off the big wolf, which is nice. Sister of the Fox comes into play, draw 1 scroll. Oh, that's really cool. Ranger Banes, this guy's been poisoned, which will actually kill him. He put it on there twice, which means he's going to die instantly, which was kind of stupid. Ah, I got a burn spell again, which is going to be perfect for this guy. Yeah, I'm going to use it on him, because these don't have a whole lot of hit points. So that'll kill him, give me an extra card. Another one of those Hell Spitter Mortars, which was handy versus the bunnies. Here I'm not as convinced of its handiness. I think it's going to be a good candidate to sack for more cards. Okay, Cannon Automaton's going down next turn. We still have great control over the top. Ooh, I don't want this to go away. I think it's too handy. Okay. I think I'm going to go... I did want the Cannon Automaton, but if I Fury right now, it'll do a pretty... It'll eliminate one of these guys, severely weaken him, also increases cooldown by 1, which will be good. It also means I can drop a Scattergunner somewhere. It doesn't mean I'll have to sacrifice Concentrate Fire to get rid of both those. And Concentrate Fire is really, really, really good. Especially since you can double up the Cannon Automaton too and kill one of these idols in 1 shot. You know what? These things are... It's going to die next turn anyway, and it won't be able to kill this, so it's going to be fine. Yeah, everything's going to be okay, so never mind. We will still need to kill or sacrifice something. I guess I'll get rid of Fury. For resources, that way I can put down a Cannon Automaton. And I guess, you know what? I can block these guys with the Cannon Automaton, because 1 less damage from everything. That only does 1, that only does 1. Actually, that works out beautifully. Much, much better. Ooh. Alright, not enough to actually kill anything, though, so that's okay. This kills a structure instantly, which isn't bad. They don't have any, though, so it's a good candidate for sacrificing, but I don't need to do that at this time. I will just put down the Scattergunner. I'm going to put him here where he's protected. And you know what? Let's draw some cards with that. Oh! Yeah, what the hell, we'll do this too. Killed by goo. That is a very inauspicious way to die. Alright, people getting buffed. We lose 1 goo tower, but that's not the end of the world. Okay, this guy's ready to attack. I'm going to move him down here to kill this big wolf. In fact, I'll move him down here as well, since we're going to want to power through this at some point. This guy is not due to attack, so that's okay. Inferno Blast is kind of interesting. He's got a lot of squishy guys, so I'm definitely going to want to save this. I could Concentrate Fire this guy. And actually, that sounds like a great idea. Let's do that. So he's going to shoot twice. Go, go. 1 to kill the wolf. 1 to deal 5 damage there. Sisters of the Fox. God, I like them with the draw card mechanic. That's too cool. Okay, we're going to move this guy up here so you can target and kill this 1 idol. Another one of those down there, really. Man, that is tough. Gains power. Is he relentless? He is too. How many friendly structures do I have in play? 1, 2, 3. So this would give him a power of 4, which would be enough to kill both of these guys. Yeah, let's do that. Move him up here. Metal Heart this guy. So power of 4. He's going to be able to burn through all these guys this round, which is going to be fantastic. I could also use burn, but there's no point. I'm actually going to... I'm going to save this. I'm going to get rid of the Inferno Blast, though. for some extra cards for... that's it. Oh, right, he had 5 hit points. I was reading the power. The attack rather than damage. Still, good work. I guess I can burn the wolf now. Oh, Eternal Statue. God damn it. He's due to attack this turn. You know what? Let's burn this guy so that this guy can get through. Oh, I could have concentrated fire as well. Silly me. Boom. Oh, that's the last one. I thought I needed one more. I lost count. I wasn't reading properly. Okay, so another victory. So we only got 160 points, but this is something that we can repeat over and over. It was also far more interesting. Now, this is on a medium AI. Presumably, you get more points on a higher difficulty, and I don't know what the difficulty affects these guys. I hope they don't cheat, and it's just like smarter and smarter and less mistakes. I'm not sure there, or maybe better constructed decks. That's another possibility. Anyway, I hope that you you like this look at the game. This is Scrolls. Not to be confused, of course, with the Elder Scrolls. I know that's so very confusing. It's a miracle there wasn't a trademark lawsuit, right? Okay, that's a joke. There was. Anyway, I really enjoy this game. I'm going to be playing this game a lot, I think. And again, it is a little bit weird that in a game you have to pay for, there's also this sort of store mechanic. But it actually does a pretty good job of pulling in the fun parts of Magic and those sorts of collectible card games. It's getting more cards, seeing what they are, ooh, what rare did you get this time, and then building your deck from scratch with that. So I actually think it's a pretty important part of the gameplay, and you seem to gain points pretty quickly. Like, it's not going to take that long for me to come out with a reasonable number of things to really build a customized deck in my main faction, but also get a decent amount of stuff in the others. I felt like when I was opening those expansion packs that I got a lot more of the other two, especially the first couple of times. Like, I've bought, I think that was my third deck, or my third pack you saw me open, and I swear the first two had like 1 and 2 energy cards in it. Then I had to buy some like specific energy scrolls just to try to get a decent number of things to play with. But yeah, there you go. There you have it. Again, you know, it's not free, and it's, you know, it's not the absolute cheapest game at around $20 US, but it is a hell of a lot of fun. So if this sort of thing interests you, definitely check it out. See you next time, folks. Bye-bye.